This is the Bucks POSTCAST, your instant game reaction for the Milwaukee Bucks. Part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Make it 4 straight losses now for our Milwaukee Bucks. A 109-99 loss in Washington. Hello, everyone, and welcome into the Locked On Bucks POSTCAST. I am your host. My name is Brandon Snide, joined alongside the Wisconsin Badger legend himself, Mr. Brian Butch. So much to get into this evening. We'll break down the turning point. We'll break down the player of the game. Maybe we'll touch the future or not the future of Giannis in Milwaukee. We'll get into all of that. And, of course, your thoughts, your reactions. I would say your celebrations, but it won't happen tonight because the Bucks lost 109-99. They are also welcomed on the show. As always, thanks for making Locked On Bucks part of your day. Friendly reminder, wherever you guys get audio podcasts, you can get the Locked On Bucks POSTCAST. We are free and available wherever you guys get audio podcasts. We are also available over on YouTube, where we're streaming right now over on the Locked On Bucks YouTube channel. Make sure you hit that subscribe button for me. I know the Bucks lost, but smash that thumbs up button for me. Please do me a solid there and hit that notification bell. Get notified when we go live, and we are live, Butchie, talking about another Milwaukee Bucks loss. They're 4th in a row. They've lost now 7 of their last 8. I'll let you hit leadoff today here for the Locked On Bucks POSTCAST. Your first reaction, Butchie, after the 109-99 loss in Washington.
Well, Brandon, initially, I thought it was a really good game. They played well. I thought Ryan Rollins did what he needed to do. My guy, Pete Nance, was out there performing like
Positive Pete. That's his nickname.
Hey,
I wrote it down on my notes. Positive Pete.
And it has been. Pete Nance has been really good. But what they've done, I thought Myles Turner was good. I thought the energy was good. I thought they were playing the right way. Now, when you look at this Bucks team in general, they're a team that, makes a lot of threes, didn't shoot it great from 3. 10 of 38 for 26% it was. If they shoot their normal percentage, that's a win. Now the question becomes, how many games do you want to win? Is this tank mode? Is it not? But this is a game in general that, here's the thing. I'm in my mind, it's always you're going to play to win the game, no matter what. Yep. I get the conversation, and we can't have a post game without saying the pros and cons of what tank mode might be now. That's going to be part of the conversations from now, from moving forward. But I just thought, I just thought the energy was better. I thought the play was better. I thought the ball movement was better. And now it becomes, how much do you put it together? What rotations are you focusing on? What are you going to take away from it? We'll talk about the turning point. Myles Turner was an eraser at the rim. Thought the last foul call on him was one of the worst calls that I've seen.
Leg-to-leg contact. John Wall, who's on the Prime broadcast, I'm glad you brought it up, Butch. He was like, that you could call that on every play then.
Well, yeah, for sure. Kuzma going to the lane before that could have got fouled too.
Right.
He missed the layup. He got nicked. You can't call that foul. That's one of the worst calls. You just can't call. Trust me, I get it, but we'll see bad calls. And that was one of the worst ones you have in a 4-point game with a drive that, is there and he gets it up top. I just, it's frustrating because that's a game that, and if your Doc, it's got to be frustrating, whether you want Doc fired or not, whether you want Giannis fired, traded or not. These guys played hard today, and that's what you have to look at.
Yeah, Ryan Rollins was fantastic. He started off slow. He definitely picked it up. He was the only reason, one of the big reasons that game was close in the fourth quarter. But you kind of hit it on it a little bit with the shooting. The Wizards didn't shoot the ball well tonight either. Both teams under 30% from 3. The Bucks are second in the NBA coming into prior to tonight's game throughout the NBA in 3-point percentage. Tonight was not their night. AJ Green, it wasn't his night. We saw a little bit, and I mean a little bit, out of Gary Trent Jr. Off the bench, but the Bucks started 1 for 8, and that's kind of been, Butchie, the story of this 4-game losing streak, right? Is they fall behind early, they fight back. We saw them fight back. They go after the first quarter. They started 1 for 8 in that first quarter. Bobby Portis was a big reason, this game didn't get out of hand early on. He had 8 points quickly in this one to kind of keep the Bucks afloat. But we've seen this team where they start off slow, sluggish. You can call it what you want. Tank ball, no Giannis. They're now, what are they, 3-13 without Giannis on the court this season. They're only 15 and 15 with Giannis on the court. So, for what that's worth, but started off cold. And that was kind of the story of the game. And from that moment, you only go down 2 after the first quarter, but then you're chasing all game long. And I don't know what it is with this Washington Wizards team. They've beat the Bucks 3 out of 4 times this year. They have 12 wins, Butchie, and a fourth of them are against this Milwaukee Bucks team. I know the Bucks aren't good, but I can tell you confidently that the Washington Wizards are not good either. And for whatever reason, they had the Bucks number this season.
Well, and you look at it, I mean, the Bucks won the first game 133-120. After that was the Wizards December 1st in Washington. They won 129-126 against the Bucks. And then December 31st, it was Washington 114, Bucks 113. So you look at that in general, to me, that's the head-scratching thing it is with this Bucks team. There's a lot of them, don't get me wrong, but tonight I didn't think was one of those head scratch. Like, there's going to be a lot of these post games that we do that we're going to get on here and say that they were just terrible because of you don't have Giannis. There's a lot of injuries. The roster construction, if we want to get a little bit more in depth there, I didn't know how much the roster construction allowed this team to be successful anyways. With Giannis this year, I thought it was going to be in question, just because I didn't know if all the pieces fit. So there's going to be a lot of nights that we get on here and we say, that was the performance we got? That was not the case tonight. They played hard. Yes, they got down. Yes, they missed shots, but this is a make or miss league. We all know it.
And it's not like Washington was shooting the lights out.
No. Like
the Bucks finished better, from the field this evening. Not much, but 3-point shooting was atrocious for both of these teams. I got 2 quick thoughts here for you, and I want you to kind of speak on one of them. Number one, positive Pete Nance, and we got to give him credit in that first quarter. 7 points, 4 rebounds, and just energy, right? Just energetic. And I know Bucks fans are probably watching the program or they're listening to the program here, Butch, and they're like, who cares? The season's over. Put a fork in it. We got the comments on the YouTube live chat lighting up that the season's over. I get it. I get where Bucks fans are, but it was cool to see Pete Nance come in. And maybe, we've only been doing this for about 2 weeks now, this show. I feel like we've said his name in a positive light more times than not.
It's
but
been since the first game we did against
Atlanta.
Atlanta.
Atlanta, yep.
I texted you at the
2-minute
work at this, and you must have think, who am I working with if he's texting me about Pete Nance? But
hey, but it's
well, I just seen him come off a 40-some plus game with the Wisconsin.
Correct.
So I was like, okay. I like what he brings. Yeah.
Were you surprised tonight? And maybe you weren't because of the state of the Bucks. They're now 18-28, 10 games under 500, 9-16 on the road. So maybe you're not surprised, but any surprise from you that Andre Jackson Jr. was the first guy off of the Bucks bench this evening?
No, because I think you try everything. So that I wasn't surprised. What I was surprised was with the 328 the rest of the game. So I'm scratching my head a little bit, right? Like when you just look at that, okay, great, first one off, and then so was it really a change, right? Like that was kind of, if you're gonna do it, then go all in with it, I guess was my thing, Brandon.
When we look at this team, and there is a lot of frustrating things about it. We can get into the nitty gritty and everything that they do defensively, offensively, lack of rebounding, and I get it. The thing that I think, and it was a big part, Butch, in that second quarter, and we'll get into turning point, we'll get into player of the game, was just the dumb fouls. And it felt like in that second quarter, it was a huge, the 3-point and then the foul. They're closing out, like, for whatever reason, super aggressively. It's not like the Wizards were shooting the lights out of the Milwaukee Bucks, I'm watching and I'm like, what? Like, stop. Like, you're giving them 3 points right now.
Well, and on the year, you look at this Washington team, they're a 35%, 3-point shooting team. So in general, it's not like they're a lights out, knock it out. Like, you can make sure you close out with great, control and understand what you're trying to do. And I mean, but it goes back to what we've seen all year with this team. It's been the discipline.
Yeah.
Or lack thereof.
And who does that fall on, Butchie? A lot of people will sit there and say it's Doc Rivers. A lot of people will say it's the assistant coaching. It's the leadership on this team. You're a former player. You've been in those situations. You've been on good teams. You've been on bad teams. You've been on teams caught in the middle. You've been on teams that has lost their best player. Who does that fall on?
Well, it's not just one. I mean, for me, the first person it falls on is Doc, because in the end, you're the one teaching it. especially with these younger players. I think that's the biggest thing now. You're, and I say playing younger players, but for me, that's the development side that you need to have. Ryan Rollins and these guys that you're trying to get something out. Doc doesn't necessarily do that. You got Bobby out there, but some of the younger players you have out there, you have to develop them. I do think not having Giannis out there does play a factor as far as player accountability. The best teams that I've played on, we were always player driven. I mean, there was plenty of huddles that Bo didn't say a single. Bo Ryan, when I played at Wisconsin, didn't say a single word. There was plenty of times when we were playing in the G League in Bakersfield, when we were the number 1 seed there. Will Voigt, who's now an assistant coach at BYU, came in and didn't say a word, because we're pointing at each other and we're saying, listen, this is what needs to happen. We know what needs to happen. It needs to be corrected now. The question becomes with no Giannis, and even the question, like Giannis, how much can he relate to these guys? Like, who is the leader now? I don't know who's the leader out there. I don't know. It's
got to be. I mean, if I'm looking at it and I don't know, it's got to be Bobby, right? Like that's the next guy.
Well, that's the problem then.
Yeah. I mean, that I'm looking at the roster.
And everybody, if you don't know, I'm very appreciative for what Bobby has done in the community. I don't think Bobby fits this group. I think Bobby Portis has gotten away from what he does. I think Bobby Portis, this city, this state of Wisconsin, fell in love with Bobby Portis because of Crazy Eyes Bobby Portis energy. That was it. Now we've got Bobby Portis the scorer, Bobby Portis the black hole, that the ball doesn't move, it sticks too much. That to me is one of the biggest things. So when he's your leader, you're going to struggle. Bobby Portis is not a leader. He's an emotional trigger. He's a guy that when things aren't going well, you say, Bobby, give me your energy. There's lots of roles in the NBA for guys like that in spots. But to say, go get me 15 a night, and, but that's me. I mean, Brandon, we've just been doing the show for 2 weeks. I've felt this way about Bobby Portis for the last two plus years.
I think a lot of Bucks fans are there.
Because I've seen the decline of what this Bucks team has done this.
The Milwaukee Bucks falling tonight for the 4th time in a row now. 7 of their last 8. 109-99. When did this one turn against Milwaukee? And who gets the Locked On Bucks player of the game? We'll talk about that coming up right after this. Tonight's Locked On Bucks postcast is brought to you by TurboTax. Tax season does not have to take over your life this year. TurboTax is making it easier than ever to just hand things off and move along with your day. With TurboTax full service, you can have your taxes done for you by a trusted local tax expert, start to finish, without the stress or the guesswork. They handle everything from W-2s to self-employed forms and work to get you every deduction possible. You can upload your documents, go about your day, and get updates right in the TurboTax app. For a limited time, you can have your taxes done by a local TurboTax expert for just $150 all in. If a TurboTax expert didn't file for you last year, just make sure you file by February 28th. Take taxes off your plate and get back to your life. Visit TurboTax.com/local. Once again, TurboTax.com/local to book your appointment today. Tonight's Locked On Bucks postcast brought to you by Quo. New year, new systems. This is the time when a lot of us look around at the messier parts of how we run our business and think there's got to be a better way. And guess what? There is. Streamlining your communication is one of the quickest upgrades you can make. That's why today's episode is brought to you by Quo, spelled Q-U-O, the smarter way to run your business communications. Because when your team is reachable, organized, and communicating all in one place, you're not just working cleaner, you're creating more opportunities to connect with your customer. It works right from your phone or your computer, and you can even keep your existing number. It's no surprise Quo is the #1 rated business phone system on G2, trusted by more than 90,000 businesses, from solo operators to growing teams. Make this year where no opportunity and no customer slips away. Try Quo for free, plus get 20% off your first 6 months when you go to quo.com/LockedOnNBA. That's QUO.com/LockedOnNBA. Quo, no missed calls, no missed customers. And lastly, tonight's Locked On Bucks postcast brought to you by our friends over at FanDuel. It's officially playoff mode in the NFL. Every game during this year's playoffs, FanDuel is giving customers even more ways to get in on the action because right now, every NFL playoff game, FanDuel users get a profit boost pack waiting for them inside the app. The boost lets you lean into your game day instincts, whether you're backing momentum, defense, quarterback play, or maybe coaching. You make your picks, then you apply your profit boost to go after an even bigger payout while the playoffs get rolling. So visit FanDuel, the official sports betting partner of the NFL, and grab your profit boost pack every NFL playoff game this season. That's FanDuel.com. 3-13 are your Milwaukee Bucks without Giannis on the floor. That includes tonight's 109-99 loss, their third loss to the Wizards this evening. And without further ado, Butchie, let's dive right into it. The turning point in the Bucks' 28th loss of the season.
Time to reveal where the game was won or lost. It's the turning point.
Feel like this can go in a lot of different directions tonight, Butchie, but I will let you have the floor. Your turning point in the Bucks' 109-99 loss in Washington to those pesky Wizards this season.
Yeah, to me, it's the horrible foul call. Now, there's a lot of things prior to that you could look at, but I thought momentum had gone Milwaukee's way. It's a 4-point game. You get the block. You have a chance to now all of a sudden get out, maybe get this thing to 2. I thought there was a lot of, opportunities for this team to kind of come back. And you have a call that's, should be Myles Turner, 9th block. I know he only is credited with 6 in the stats, which is amazing because it was more than 6. But for me,
I think it was closer to 10.
Well, exactly. I mean, so for me, it's that block as far as a turning point, because even though you don't know the result, I think the way that they were going to and attacking in that situation, 4-point game, get the ball, get a bucket, one more stop. Now all of a sudden you get a chance to kind of attack in that mode. To me, that's the turning point, because after that, the game was over with. I mean, after that worst call that I've seen in a very, very, very long time, like that was the wrap. That was the game. So to me, that, I thought there was other points in the third quarter. There was a couple of situations there where like, okay, you can't let it go there. But for me, it was that.
I'm going to go into the second quarter. The Bucks they grab a hold of this game at least a little bit. It felt like, obviously, you're not comfortable with any lead in the NBA, but the Bucks grab the lead. They make a few runs, but you had 2 separate 11-0 Washington Wizards runs. Every time the Bucks would have something going offensively, Washington would utilize their defense, utilize the length that they were showing. I know they went small a few times, but they hounded the Milwaukee Bucks defensively in that second quarter, outscoring Milwaukee 32-20. The Bucks at halftime, Butchie, 5 for 23 from 3. And that one, I mean, you make 1 or 2 more of those, and it's a different ball game. And then that third quarter, the Bucks actually won the third quarter. Then you're feeling a little bit better. The Bucks tied in the fourth quarter. Both teams scoring 27 in the fourth quarter. So it felt like that second quarter was kind of the difference for this game, right? The Bucks kind of grab a hold of I don't want to say grab a hold, because it never really would have been a hold of the game, but they get some stops, they get some buckets, they take the lead, but then an 11-0 Washington run. Then the Bucks have another response, and then another 11-0 Washington run, and going into half, and then you're down 14 at halftime on the road after you just lost 3 in a row, after the Giannis rumors keep swirling, after everything just kind of seems hopeless, down 14 at half. You didn't feel great about it, at least for me. And that's my turning point. The second quarter tonight, as the Bucks lose 109-99. Butchie, we got to do it. Win, lose, or draw. Our Locked On Bucks player of the game.
This is the Locked On player of the game.
I'll let you bat lead off here once again, Butchie. Your player of the game in the Bucks 109-99 loss.
Yeah, I think you could look at Myles Turner back-to-back, really good performances for Myles, and now all of a sudden that puts a whole different conversation that we can have is if the Bucks can move them. If, there's so many rumors out there that and when I said there's smoke, there's fire with a lot of this stuff. What did they become? But for me this season now, and not quite yet, but we're at the point where I'm pretty confident to say this is kind of a let's see what we've got for young guys. Like, I love the play of Pete Nance again. Like, if Pete Nance can come in and I'll say it, take Bobby Portis's role, like as that energy guy. That's what they need. They need more energy givers versus energy takers. So for me, it was Pete Nance. He's 20 minutes, 13 points, 6 of 10, 1 of 3 from 3. Great energy.
He had one of the best passes of the night, maybe the best pass of the game.
Yeah, it only -1 in that. Bobby Portis was -21. Not a huge plus-minus guy, but like we need, and I say we, but the Bucks need more energy givers. That's what Pete Nance has done. He's given an opportunity. He's taken advantage of it. And I'll put this real quick out there because I know we got to get rolling and it's yours, but there's a 2A spot being held by Alex Antetokounmpo. I'm just throwing that out there. Like, if you're going to move on from Giannis at any point,
could have a few roster spots open.
You might as well clear a spot and get rid of Alex Antetokounmpo as well, and see if you can develop some young guys that you're trying to develop. I'm just big picture wise. If you're in development mode, you better develop guys that might be because you've seen what Pete Nance can do. I'm not going to say,
man, he's been fun. Like there's no denying it.
Can he be an 8th, 9th guy on a team? He's showing, yes, he can be.
I mean, if
he's going to do it all the time.
Washington's not, you're not going to pound the table and say Washington's one of the better teams in the league. But if you give me 13 and 20, the energy, the effort, I will take that, especially in a season where I think most of us would agree it's probably over at this point, probably has been over. I would most certainly would take Pete Nance. He was on my list, as was Myles Turner. Let me just clear this real quick, and I know we're up against the clock. There seems to be a lot of hate towards Myles Turner on social media. I'm not there yet with Myles. I don't understand it. Like, I get he maybe, I shouldn't say maybe, really hasn't lived up to that big contract he signed in the offseason. I still think he's trying to figure out his role on what it is.
They all are.
You don't have Kevin Porter Jr. for the first month, then you don't have Giannis, and then you don't have Kevin Porter Jr. again, then you don't have Giannis, and Myles Turner is just kind of caught in no man's land. But I wonder if they're going to go back and correct.
As a big, you need to know your role most importantly because you don't have the ball in your hands. Someone has to give you the ball. That's the most important thing.
21, 14, and it says 6 blocks on the box score. I'm willing to bet they correct that to like 7 or 8 because it felt like he had a few more. Even the one that you mentioned is one of the worst calls that should have been a block and not a foul on Myles Turner. So honorable mention to Myles Turner, but I know this will also irk a lot of Bucks fans because this guy seems to either be hot or cold with Bucks fans, but it's Ryan Rollins because he was a big reason in that fourth quarter. 7 points in that first quarter. He had a couple of threes, 3 for 5 tonight from beyond the 3-point line for Ryan Rollins, 7 of 13 from the field. He had 17 points. It was a slow start for Ryan, but there was a couple of back-to-back possessions where he backed down his defender and took the ball, attacking the rim. And he was a big reason that the Bucks had it, somewhat close there in the fourth quarter. I know the final score, if you didn't watch the game and you're listening to the show, number one, thank you. But number two, it was a one possession game late in this one. And Ryan Rollins was a huge part of it. I don't know if it was cramping, Butchie. I don't know if you.
It looked like it was. I mean,
it looked like just a cramp.
The first time, the one that he dove for, it looked like he got, tangled up. That one looked a little different. The last time he was out when he was not in towards the end of the game there, for that one possession, looked like to me it was cramping. Yeah,
eight assists as well for Ryan Rollins and 4 steals. Like that's
you're spot on.
That's a great performance tonight from Ryan Rollins. Just unfortunately not enough as the Bucks fall for the 4th time in a row. 7 of their last 8, 3-13 without Giannis. A 109-99 loss tonight in Washington to the Wizards. They will continue the road trip. They're out in Boston on Sunday afternoon, a bit of a mid-afternoon, a matinee game for us. We'll get caught up after that final whistle, after that game it concludes and comes to a final. Hopefully the Bucks can right some wrongs on this road trip. That'll do it for tonight's show. Thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in. Thank you for making Locked On Bucks part of your day. A friendly reminder, wherever you guys get audio podcasts, you can get Locked On Bucks postcast and also get it over on YouTube where we're live right now. If you were over on YouTube, make sure you hit that subscribe button. Make sure you hit that thumbs up. Make sure you hit the notification bell. Get notified when Butchie and myself go live. And once again, we will go live after the game on Sunday after the Bucks take on the Boston Celtics. Thanks to each and every one of you for tuning in. Thank you for making Locked On Bucks part of your day each and every single day. And as always, it's a tough one. It's a tough season, but make sure you stay Locked On Bucks.